Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to can your own homemade beef stew. This is so easy and so good. You're going to want to know how to do this. As always, I will give you instructions on both how to heritage water bath it and preferred method pressure can it. I'm also going to show you the two different ways that you can do it, both raw pack and hot pack. So remember that this is going to be so much healthier than anything you can buy in the store, not to mention more delicious and less expensive. So let's break it down and show you how we can do this two different methods. Canning your own homemade beef stew, or any meat actually, you could use deer, you could use rabbit, squirrel, elk, moose, whatever you have, but we're gonna use beef today. This is so easy, and you can have delicious homemade beef stew whenever you want it. It will last on the shelf for years without refrigeration. That's always great to have for peace of mind. And in an emergency situation, it takes minimal work to heat this up. You can just pour it and just, in a little pot and heat it up really quick, and you don't have to use the energy that it takes to cook it from scratch. So that's always really handy when the power goes out or any little emergency situation, or when you just come home late and you want something really quick and easy, but still healthy and homemade. There are two different ways that you can can homemade beef stew. There is a raw method, and then there is a hot method, hot pack. I'm gonna show you both of them so you can choose which one you want. The raw method is quicker, you can get a whole lot done really quick, and it is delicious. But the hot pack method is gonna give you a better flavor. Think of the difference as the raw pack being kind of like something that you cooked in a slow cooker or an Instapot where you put everything in, closed the lid, and just cooked it, as opposed to the hot pack method is going to take more like something you cooked on a stovetop, slowly over a couple of hours. You just get a better taste because you get that sear flavor in with your meat as well. That's how I prefer to do it, so I will show you how to do that, but we're going to show you first how easy it is to do this. Start with your meat, whatever meat you want. Whenever I am canning meat, I like to use the more tough cuts. They're cheaper to begin with, but they hold up better under the long cooking times. So honestly, my favorite in the beef is a brisket. Believe it or not, you can use it in gravies or stews or soups or anything, and it is so delicious. It has so much more flavor, and it holds together well. And once it's done, it will be melt in your mouth tender, so you don't have to worry about it being tough. People don't even realize, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is brisket. But today, we're just using some roast. Any roast will do. You can use whatever meat you want, but again, I stick to the tougher cuts. And all you have to do to raw pack is put in a little bit of meat, raw, into your jar. I put maybe like a third meat, maybe a little more. Yeah, about right there. And then you'll put in your vegetables. Now, I always tell you how to do the heritage water bath canning method and how to do the pressure canning preferred method. In all of my canning videos, I will always give you the instructions for both. So if you're interested in learning the, heritage or rebel canning methods, then like, subscribe, follow, and all of that, because no matter what canning video I do, I'm gonna give you those instructions. Because I have followers all over the world, and in many countries, that's their only option. So, for your vegetables, if you are water bath canning, you could put any vegetable that you want, but it's a stew, so I'm gonna do carrots and potatoes. You could put green beans or whatever you want. It's really gonna be delicious. But potatoes and carrots are root vegetables. They're grown inside the dirt. So you have more of a chance of a microbial contamination with the dirt. So if you're water bathing, it's always recommended to peel your root vegetables. Peel them first. If you're pressure canning, you don't have to. If you prefer the taste of them peeled, you can, but you don't have to, because the whole point of pressure canning is that the heat gets high enough to kill off any potential pathogens, so you don't have to do it. When I grow my own homegrown potatoes, I usually do leave the skins on because most of the nutrients are in the skins. So that's your preference. But if you're water bathing, do peel them because it's just an extra layer of protection. If you're pressure canning, there's really no need because the temperatures are going to be so high you're going to kill any potential pathogen. So we're going to put some potatoes in the jar. I try not to make these videos so chatty, but at the same time, I want to give you all of the information that you need. So sorry, but I don't want to have to answer these questions a bazillion times in the comments when I could just tell everybody when we film it. All right, so we're gonna put some carrots, and then we're gonna put our seasonings, so some onions, some bell peppers, little garlic, and then you can put whatever spices that you like in your jar. I usually put a seasonal, a salt, a black pepper, red pepper, garlic powder, whatever you like in the jar. And then that's it. Then you're gonna put some water in the jar, leaving a good inch of headspace. You can debubble. There are tools for this, but I like to use a chopstick. I find it works the best. And this is pretty liquidy, so honestly, a lot of this is going to debubble on its own regardless, but there you go. Yeah. Then you're going to clean your rims really good. Just make sure there's no fat on there. And put your lid on finger tight. And then you can it, water bath or pressure can. And then that's it. If you're raw packing, that's all you have to do. How simple is that? You could do so much so quick. Now, I'm gonna show you how to do the hot pack version, which takes just a few more steps. It's really not that difficult, but it will give you an amazing, amazing flavor. And once you taste it, you're gonna be like, I'm not doing it any other way. It's worth the effort. So let's do it that way now. First thing we're gonna do is put a little oil in it, get that melted down. And then we're gonna add our meat to brown. Whatever seasonings you like. When you have a lot of meat like this, sometimes it'll start putting off gravy before your meats have a chance to sear. You could just wait for all of that to cook down. I usually pull it off because it speeds things up a little bit, and I'll add it back later when I add my broth or my water to make my broth. So if I wait for this to cook down, that could take quite a while. So what I usually do is just pull it out, and then it'll get to browning very, very quickly. And I can put it back after that. Alright, once your meat is seared, you start to see that nice browning on the meat and on the bottom of the pot. You can go ahead and add your seasonings in. Stir that in and let it wilt. Sorry, thought the camera was on and it wasn't, but once your onions have wilted for a minute or two, you can add your root vegetables in. Just give them a good little stir, and then add some water. You can add some broth if you want. I'm putting that broth right back in that I took out earlier. You can add bouillon if you want. We're gonna let this cook for only just a few minutes just to kind of release everything that was on the pot. You wanna stir it and kind of pull up the grimance from the bottom of the pot. Don't put a whole lot of water because if you were cooking this on the stovetop, that water would evaporate while you're cooking, but in the jars, there's nowhere for it to evaporate. So you really want to only put as much water as you hope to have in your final product. So if I was making the stew, it would cook down and I wouldn't want it to have more water than this, so that's all I'm going to put. And then you can turn the heat off. And get your jars ready. All right. Now we rinse our jars with hot water because we're hot packing, and that's going to help to prevent it from having any kind of temperature shock. And what I like to do is put a little bit and move on, and that kind of helps the glass to have a little time to warm up. And just try to kind of evenly distribute your meat and your root vegetables in each jar. This one might be a little overfull, so I'm gonna kind of poke around and see. No, we're okay. We're okay. So I'm mostly just putting my solid stuff because I want to get that evenly distributed amongst my jars. And then I'll come back and pass the broth around as well. And it looks like we're going to get about 6 jars, which means that each roast gave us 3 jars, which is really good because each jar, if you served it with some rice or some bread or mashed potatoes or something like that, could easily feed 4 people if you have sides, probably maybe even more. So that's really good. All right, so now I'm going back around and I'm gonna evenly distribute the broth. So what I'm gonna do is put 1 in each, because I want the flavor to be evenly distributed. And if I have to add hot water, then that's fine. It's going to evenly dilute. Because again, this is not fully cooked, so you're gonna get a lot more flavor coming out of your contents into your jars. Then you can kind of just look at your jars and see which one has less broth and continue to put it. When I get down to the last little bit like this, it's going to be easier to just pour it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and debubble, kind of move stuff around a little bit. And that'll help everything to kind of settle in the jars. And then I'm going to come back and top them off with hot water, leaving an inch of headspace. Now I'm going to clean my rims. You can use a warm rag or paper towel. Typically people will use vinegar, white vinegar, if there's any kind of oil or fat in your product, and that's just to make sure that that fat is broken down so it doesn't prevent you from getting a good seal. Then we're going to put our lids on, finger tight. Of course, good rule for that is to let it go until it stops on its own and then just go a little quarter turn more. Go on its own, quarter turn more. So it cost us $20 to do this, maybe $21 with total ingredients. We used 2 roasts and we're getting 6 jars, which are going to feed about 4 people each with sides. So that's a great, great deal. Now, if you had bought this in the store, I'll have to look it up and then I'll give you the math and show you what that would have cost you to buy an equivalent amount of canned stew in the store. But of course, it will be nowhere near as good, as healthy. You won't have this, quality ingredients. Also, you can make your own dog food very easily. Just raw pack some stew together, and that will always be good for them and better than anything you get in the pet department, and way less expensive. Now to can this, super easy. If you're gonna water bath this, watch this video. We'll give you complete instructions on how to water bath, everything you need to know, but your time is going to be 3 hours because there is meat in it. So get it up to a rolling boil, cover that with water, let it boil for 3 hours. I'm gonna pressure can today because I need it to save some time. Pressure canning will get it done in 90 minutes for quart jars and 70 minutes for pints. It also saves you some time on the prep because I didn't have to peel all of my root vegetables for the reasons that I explained in the beginning. So for me, for today, because I'm super busy, I'm gonna pressure can this to save me some time and get it over with, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's finished. When you're ready to serve your stew, you can go ahead and pop that lid open, pour it into a pot. If you want it thicker than it already is, you can put a spoon or two of cornstarch in it, whisk it in, heat it up, and serve it. It should look something like this. Doesn't that look delicious? If you like this video and would like to see more like it, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, and we will see you next time.